The news of you signing with Bare Knuckle kind of came out of nowhere. What was the process like? Did you reach out first, or did David Feldman reach out? What was the timeline of you kind of making this agreement?
It wasn't really a much a reach out. We were on a radio show together, an MMA radio show together in January, and we kind of linked up there and exchanged information and whatnot. And then it just sort of started building off of that, And at first I wouldn't say I was interested in doing it, but then sort of some things started to intrigue me about it. Obviously, you always have that little bit of an itch to compete, and things started to come together.
What made this more intriguing for you to kind of change the style of the sport you compete in from going back to fighting another boxing match?
Well, I think the finances obviously has something to do with it. It was good money. Also, it was a different challenge. It was a new challenge. And so I wouldn't have to. If I went back into boxing, I would sort of have to work my way back into contention. While bare knuckle boxing is sort of still new, so I'm automatically in contention once I step into it. You know what I'm saying? So my reputation kind of hurdles some of the early steps I would need to take in regular boxing. I wouldn't have to take those steps in bare knuckle boxing. So I think it was sort of because you don't really have a time to build when you're 38 years old. I can't say I'm going to start campaigning, but I do see an opportunity to kind of jump into this and have some fun.
And you're adding your name to the roster and signing guys like Artem Lobov adds a lot of legitimacy to the BKFC. A lot of people were looking at it a little cross-eyed when the events were announced last year, but they've really been building a deep bench. Is that one of the reasons why you signed? They're making an effort to bring in higher caliber athletes, and they're looking to make this as legitimate as boxing or mixed martial arts.
Absolutely. I think they've just been they've had a good niche following, but I think they were looking for some crossover appeal. And once they get that crossover appeal, they really believe that the excitement of the fights will sell themselves. They just need the eyeballs and they need the media coverage. And I believe that. Once I think that was part of the reason for signing a guy like me, to kind of bring more eyeballs to the sport, get more coverage to the sport. And then, of course, the sport, once you watch it, will sell itself because, the fights are exciting. The fights are kind of wild. And, they're people love to see knockouts. People love to see damage. And, that's what BKFC brings you. It brings you a lot of excitement.
And as someone who's been analyzing fights for the better part of the last few years, you've been able to see things from a different lens. Do you feel being a boxing analyst will help you inside the ring?
I think analyzing boxing was always something that I did. I always used to love to study and things like that, and mix and match certain styles and mix and match just ideas and whatnot. I've always been that kind of student even as a fighter, and as I was learning to box when I was a teenager. And I think it ended up helping me because I was never a guy who got a lot of knockouts, which meant I was going to spend a lot of time inside the ring during my fights. And so understanding the different angles, understanding the different ways to win and laying your shots and whatnot was always something that I had. And I think I think it ends up benefiting me more so as an analyst than as a fighter, because I think I always had that as a fighter.
And you said your knockout ratio isn't really that high. You're walking into a sport like bare knuckle boxing that's predicated on the knockout. Are you going to be focused on going the distance in your fights, or are you going to be looking to drop some bodies?
I really don't think, most people, unfortunately, that even watch combat sports don't understand fighting at all. Even the ones that have gotten into a few street fights don't understand fighting at all. I don't think there's many guys that are going to go the distance with me in this sport. The street fights I have been in, which I'm not going to brag about or say I get into street fights because I don't. You know what I'm saying? I'm older and I'm mature, but yes, I've been younger, and even during my boxing career, I had a few. Nobody lasts. That you all get knocked out. So I don't think punching power with gloves on and trained fighters who know how to avoid punches, clean, crisp punches, really makes a logical comparison to this. Not to say that I'm going to go in there and knock everybody out, but you're going to see damage because my assault is too good and my talent is too much.
Do you feel that your training is going, aside from the fact that you're 38, you're stepping into a different style of boxing? What about your training is going to change, or you're going to have to make some modifications on for this new endeavor?
I think there's certainly some adjustments that need to be made, and I'll be able to make those adjustments. I think at the end of the day, the base is punching, and I have a great base of punching. But obviously, you have to not only set up your punches, but of course, you got to know how to defend them correctly and set them up correctly, obviously. But I like my chances, and I know the adjustments I need to make. I just have to work on making them.
And you're known for your sartorial splendor, not only as an analyst, but as a fighter. Are you going to bring the similar outfits, similar hairstyles to BKFC, or are we going to see a more reserved Paulie Malignaggi?
We'll see. We'll see what I have in mind. You know, I definitely, I've always had that appetite for flair when it came to promotion and promoting myself. I'm a trash talker. I don't believe anybody does the trash talking better than I do. So I believe that, I'll bring that to the table. And we'll see in terms of outfits and hair. Honestly, at 38 years old, my hair is thinning a little bit, so I'm running out of options.